Have you ever had one of those days that feels like a total and complete disaster, only to look back on it later and realize, wow, that had to happen? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into today with a timeless story about a farmer, his son, and a horse. It's a really simple tale, but trust me, its lesson about good luck and bad luck might just change how you look at, well, everything.
So I want you to just keep this one question in the back of your mind as we go. What if our absolute worst moments are actually blessings in disguise? What if the things we immediately label as bad are really just setting the stage for something amazing that we just can't see yet? This story is the perfect example of that idea.
Okay, so our story kicks off in this quiet little village, and we meet a farmer named Mr. Adam. Now, he wasn't a rich guy by any means, life was pretty tough, but he had this kind of quiet contentment about him. His whole world really revolved around three things: his small farm, his only son Daniel, and his most prized possession.
So at the heart of all this, you've got Mr. Adam, our wise and humble farmer. Right beside him is his son, Daniel, who helps him work the land. And then there's Max. And let me tell you, Max wasn't just any old horse. He was smart, he was strong, and he was so loved he was basically treated like one of the family.
You know how word gets around? The story of this incredible horse eventually travels outside the village and reaches the ears of a wealthy businessman, a guy named Mr. Smith. He was so intrigued he journeyed all the way out to see Max for himself, and wow, he was just blown away by this animal's rare mix of strength and smarts.
So, Mr. Smith doesn't even hesitate. He makes Mr. Adam an offer that would totally change his life forever. We're talking enough money to end all his struggles and just live in comfort. For everyone else in the village, this looked like a winning lottery ticket.
But, and this is where everyone was just floored, Mr. Adam kindly turned him down. You see, for him, Max wasn't just some asset you could sell. He was family. The other villagers, they just couldn't get it. They thought he was absolutely nuts to pass up that kind of money. And then, when you know it, just a few days later, it looks like that decision was a huge mistake. Something that seemed like a great misfortune happens, and for the villagers who are already judging him, well, this was all the proof they needed.
Max disappears. He's just gone, vanished from his stable. And look how quickly the villagers flip their script. The very same people who called Mr. Adam a fool for not selling the horse were now saying he wasn't even worthy of keeping it. The criticism was just immediate and brutal. His son Daniel was, of course, heartbroken. But Mr. Adam, he remained totally calm. He told his son this simple piece of wisdom, which is really the heart of the whole story. He just understood that you can't label something as purely good or purely bad in the moment. But to Daniel, who was grieving, it probably just sounded like his dad was in denial.
But hold on, because this story is not even close to being over. Just a few days later, something completely unbelievable happens, and it turns what looked like a terrible loss completely on its head.
Max comes back. He just strolls back into the village. And he's not alone. Get this. He comes back leading a whole herd of 5 beautiful wild horses. Turns out he didn't run away. It looks like he just went to find some friends. All of a sudden, Mr. Adam goes from having 0 horses to having 6.
And just like that, the villagers changed their tune. Again, the guy they were just making fun of is now the luckiest man alive, a truly fortunate man. Their opinions just shifted with the wind. But through it all, Mr. Adam stayed completely steady. No big celebrations, no pride.
So now, with this incredible new wealth of horses, Daniel gets to work trying to train them. But this great fortune, well, it appears to lead directly to another awful event, an accident that brings a whole new wave of pain and suffering to the family.
Yup. While trying to tame one of the wild ones, Daniel gets thrown hard, and his leg is badly broken. The villagers, of course, they start whispering again, saying the horses were a curse and that Mr. Adam brought this all on himself. So Daniel, in all this pain, cries out that this time, for sure, something truly bad has happened. But his father just repeats his core belief. Even with his own son hurt, his perspective is unshakable. Time, he says, will tell everything.
And that time for revelation, it comes way, way sooner than anyone could have possibly imagined. Just 1 week later, something totally out of their control sweeps through the country, and it's this event that finally shows the true meaning of everything that's happened.
War is declared, and officials arrive in the village and start rounding up every single able-bodied young man for the army.
Families are being torn apart, and there's this awful sense of dread as all the boys are marched away, many of them never to be seen again.
But when the officials get to Mr. Adams' farm, they see Daniel's broken leg, and they just move on. He's unfit for service. He is spared. That terrible accident, the thing that caused so much pain, was the very thing that saved his life.
Okay, so let's just trace this chain of events, because this is wild. Losing the horse seemed like a total disaster, right? But that led to gaining a whole herd of horses. That incredible fortune led directly to Daniel's painful accident. But that very same accident, which seemed like a curse, is what ultimately saved him from going to war. Every single event was linked, and you just couldn't know its true meaning in the moment.
And sitting there beside his son, safe from the war, Mr. Adams shares this final piece of wisdom. It's all about balance, right? Not getting too carried away by the good times or too crushed by the bad times, because you truly never know how one is leading to the other.
So what's the big takeaway from all of this? The core lesson is that our immediate judgment of anything that happens is, well, super limited. We're only seeing one tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. It's only with time that we can step back and actually see how all those pieces fit together.
And that really brings us back around to you. Think about your own life for a second. Is there a disaster from your past that, now that you can look back, you see was actually a necessary step? What event in your life looks totally different now through the lens of time? It's a really powerful perspective and a great reminder that the full story, well, it's almost never clear while you're living it.